Ireland was very conservative in those days, and there were a lot of people who weren't very happy about a young mother going away and leaving her husband and child. Never mind the fact that the husband was the one who was sending me away and he was guaranteeing to look after the child. There's some nice ones over here. But there was quite a lot of reaction, I think. It was against the role of women. I was going in the opposite direction. I wasn't trying to pretend to be a man or anything, no way. But, you know, when I thought about it, I thought, well, why shouldn't women have that opportunity? And so I stood up for women's events then as best I could. From the time we left home to the time we arrived in Melbourne, it was 10 or 12 days. I'd never been in a stadium this enormous, which was packed solid in Melbourne. But I learned to enjoy it, and I learned all I can do is my best. If it's not good enough to, you know, get to the final or whatever, that so be it. At least I had been good enough to run in the Olympics. Mummy kept all these for ages. In effect, it probably was the most successful team in percentages that ever went out. 50% of them had been in the top 6. And it was like a small family. And of course I was Mammy. If anybody needed something washed or something sewn, Mammy got it. So, but there you go. But it was a marvellous experience. Rome was very different. It was desperately hot and you couldn't sleep at night. It was very uncomfortable. I had the pleasure of congratulating Cassius Clay. That was the one really good thing about Rome. I met him the day after he had won his gold, and I went over and said, congratulations, that was brilliant. And he put his arms around me, he gave me a hug, as he did with most people. I just always felt it took time for women to be totally accepted in the Olympics, and I'd say it's only within the last about three Olympics that they've been really accepted by all countries. I'm very proud of being an Olympian. I think, I've talked to Ronnie about this a lot, and Ronnie always made the famous comment, once an Olympian, always an Olympian. Seán believed I could encourage other girls to go to the Olympics by setting an example, and that's what he sold it to me on. And he said, somebody has to start. He said, you're the best one I know to start it now, because you don't mind, you'll stand up to people and say, well, why shouldn't girls run? And I suppose I did. Katie said to me one time, said, oh, you were the first person to do it. And I'd said to Katie, and she was the first woman boxer. And I mean, I was congratulating her on this. And she said, oh, well, you were the first woman to go out to the Olympics and so on. And I said, yeah, I know, but somebody had to be first. You know, it wasn't me, it was going to be somebody else.